Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the TCPL Packaging Limited's earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anup Pujari from CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on TCPL Packaging's Q1 FY22 earnings conference call. We have with us today Mr. Saket Kanoria, Managing Director, Mr. Akshay Kanoria, Executive Director, and Mr. Vivek Dave, GM Finance of the company. We would like to begin the call with brief opening remarks from the management, following which we'll have the forum open for an interactive question and answer session. Before we start, I would like to point out that some statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature, and a disclaimer to this effect has been included in the results presentation shared with you earlier. I would now like to invite Mr. Saket Kanoria to make his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us on our earnings call for the first quarter ended 30th June 21. I hope in these challenging times, all of you and your families are keeping safe and are in good health. I will be covering the business highlights and financial performance for the quarter, post which we will be happy to take your questions and suggestions. As some of you may know, TCPL is one of India's leading producers of sustainable packaging solutions for customers across industries. With a 15-year net sales CAGR of in excess of 17%, we have consistently outperformed our underlying industries or customers on the back of our strategic approach to growth through diversification. Today, TCPL is one of India's largest folding carton manufacturers and converters of paperboard. This core segment contributes to approximately 85% of our revenue, and the balance comprises of the flexible packaging division. While we are a smaller player in this relatively new segment, we believe among our marquee large customers, we have successfully positioned ourselves as a highly innovative player providing versatile and sustainable solutions. Over the years, we have actively expanded and diversified our operations to service a wide range of packaging products while consistently adding new clients and growing our share of business in existing customers and markets. I would also like to point out an interesting fact that came to our attention recently, that out of the 6,000 listed companies on the Indian stock exchanges, there are only 105 companies that have managed to grow each year for the past 10 years. I'm proud to say that TCPL is one of these 105 companies on the list, but not only are we on this list for 10 years, but in fact we have been growing each year for our entire history of the company, which is in excess of 30 years. So I wonder if they made a list of companies which have grown each year for 30 years, I would think that there would be a very small number. Coming to our quarter one performance, we started the fiscal on a steady note despite the second wave of the COVID pandemic impacting demand in the first quarter. Total revenues expanded by 33% to 226 crores, and of course the increased growth rate year-on-year basis was primarily owing to last year's low base. With last year's learning, we had all the necessary protocols in place that allowed us to maintain productivity at all our facilities while adhering to all the regulations and safety standards. During the quarter, we witnessed notable raw material inflation that impacted our gross margin. However, operating leverage and better cost management enabled us to report a higher EBITDA of rupees 30 crores, which was up 29% from the same period last year. This translated into a margin of 13.4%. We are taking adequate price hikes to cover inflation and anticipate our margins to revert to normal levels in the upcoming quarters. Our profit before tax grew to 9.5 crores, and our cash profit was strong at rupees 23 crores during the quarter. On the operational front, we are making healthy progress in establishing our second flexible packaging line at Silvassa that will more than double our existing capacity. Furthermore, TCPL Innofilm Private Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of TCPL, is setting up a state-of-the-art innovative PE, that is polyethylene blown film line, which is being imported from Germany. This film is based on the machine direction orientation technology and will be not only environmentally friendly but produce recyclable packaging. At present, most flexible packaging is made of multiple polymers, rendering it non-recyclable. However, TCPL aims to use single polymer while still satisfying all barrier and functional requirements, aiding in the transition to recyclable packaging. Given the growing trend towards sustainable and recyclable solutions, we anticipate this product will garner healthy traction going forward. Both facilities will be commissioned this fiscal. So normalization in demand combined with these expansion plans should provide a notable impetus to our growth from next year onwards. To conclude, we have delivered a resilient and consistent performance in an unpredictable environment. Going forward, on account of our technological advancements in the packaging solutions industry, we believe that organized large players like us are well positioned to tap the growing demand for sustainable packaging solutions from brands across various industries, including FMCG and food and beverage. As our results documents were shared with you earlier, I hope you've had an opportunity to glance through the financial numbers. I would now request the moderator to open the forum for any questions or suggestions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking questions. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. To ask a question, please press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Faisal Hawa from H.G. Hawa and Company. Please go ahead.
Sustainability issues amongst packaging especially are coming into a lot of scrutiny these days.
Sorry, can you repeat your opening point?
Yeah. So sustainability issues, especially in packaging, are coming into a lot of scrutiny, and we are in a very good position in the sense that we supply to most MNCs and large Indian corporates, and we may be asked to now shift our packaging towards sustainability and to really be more environmental friendly. So are we in a position to really pivot and do research development, really engage with our customers and even collaborate with them to change materials or to even change in many cases our machineries to cater to this demand? That is one. And secondly, sir, in view of a lot of M&A activities and private equity and venture capital activities taking place in the secondary in the unlisted space, particularly with Parksons, which is a very similar company to yours, how are we looking at enhancing our shareholder value? Because ours remains a very illiquid stock, and very few mutual funds are also present. So, is there some view on how to enhance the shareholder value?
All right, thank you. This sustainability is a very big word. We like to focus more on recyclability, and packaging is all about recyclability, and sustainability is a subset of that. So I just explained that we are getting into this new technology wherein we can make recyclable, flexible packaging, but a large part of our business is paperboard based, which is anyway the most sustainable material that you can get. So I think we are very well positioned from this aspect, and we have in fact taken significant advanced steps towards maintaining leadership in this area. And as you rightly said, this is certainly going to be a thrust and focus for most customers going forward. As far as private equity, active investments in some unlisted companies, that will always keep taking place. I don't think that is an essential ingredient for us to enhance shareholder value. Your question is a bit contrary because
Participants, we seem to have lost the line for the management. Please stay connected while we reconnect the line for the management. Ladies and gentlemen, we've lost the line for the management. We are reconnecting them. Please stay connected.
तुम्ही ज्या व्यक्तीशी बोलत आहात त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला होल्डवर ठेवला आहे. कृपया लाईनवरच राहा. The person you are speaking with has put your तुम्ही ज्या व्यक्तीशी बोलत आहात त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला होल्डवर ठेवला आहे. कृपया
Participants, thank you for patiently holding your lines. We have the line for the management reconnected. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I don't know what went wrong with the line. It got disconnected. So I was talking about the private equity investments in this space, and we don't see how that enhances shareholder value by inviting them into our company. Shareholder value really will, I think, play out when as we consistently perform, consistently grow, and have a higher return on equity and on investment. The liquidity of the stock obviously really depends on how much interest there is in the market and how many people recognize the performance of the company. Hello.
Mr. Hawa, are you done with the questions? There seems to be no response from the line of Mr. Hawa. A reminder to participants that you may press star and 1 to ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask questions, please press star and 1. A reminder to participants that you may press star and 1 to ask questions. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from RW Equities. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking this. I'm sorry I got disconnected in the opening remarks, so I'm asking if something has been covered. I apologize for it. So my question is basically last 2 quarters we've seen our gross margins have been under pressure. I mean, I don't recollect in the last 12 quarters our gross margins going down below 40%. But so is this commodity inflation, and as I believe you mentioned that you've taken price hikes. So, but is this commodity inflation now sustained in our gross margins, or you think you will be the company will be able to deliver gross margins which we have been delivering historically?
We believe that we should come back to a historical margin. This post-COVID period has seen tremendous volatility in raw materials, and particularly in the last 6-8 months, there has been a lot of international freight costs which have gone totally out of control. And obviously, this passing on such volatile input costs takes some time, and when you pass on one element, then another one goes up. So there's been this constant pressure, but I think that we should see an improvement in gross margin going forward.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mitesh Jain from Aditya Birla. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mitesh over here, sir. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Sure. So, basically, I want to ask you about the TCPL InnoFilm, which is a new line of, relatively a new line of business which the company is going into via 100% subco. Basically, if you can elaborate, like when you commission this, I mean, how has been the pre-marketing strategy? Has there been good inquiry, or do you have the order? This is relevant in the sense how quickly we can ramp up this plant. This is the question number 1. And number 2, how big is the opportunity for this innovative single polymer packaging, flexible packaging? I mean, can this kind of product, can this product cannibalize the existing flexible packaging where there is a mix and match of the metal and the polymer and which can't be recycled? So how has been the initial dialogue with some of your customers about it? If you can talk about this opportunistic landscape for TCPL InnoFilm, it would be really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you. So, as we speak, we have imported a couple of containers of this film, and we are doing tests at various customers for various different product applications. So far, we get a very encouraging feedback and response. The product seems to work well on packing lines, etc. But it's still early days because, a well-established product if you want to change the structure of the packaging, customers have to subject it to extended shelf life and a lot of testing for both barrier and functional requirements. So it's a journey, and we have started that well in time so that before our machine comes, if we can get 3-4 approvals, then at least we have some commercial application to go with, and over a period of time we can ramp up its usage. But if in the meantime, obviously the equipment is capable of making regular PE film, so it's not that the equipment will be idle. We have also received a lot of export inquiries for this, so we are quite confident that ramp up will happen fairly quickly, but the value added MDO ramp up may take up to a year to completely fully utilize it. But as far as the opportunity is concerned, we really believe that there's a huge opportunity because the recyclability is the name of the game. And the government, so far, regulation is not talking about single polymer film being a mandate. They have just introduced, as you may have read, a ban on single-use plastic items completely by next year. So they've given the industry time to fit in for about 8-9 months. We expect that even for the flexible packaging, similar sort of guidelines which mandate recyclable packaging will come in time to come. And once that happens, then the opportunity becomes massive. Just for you to know, we are setting up a plant of capacity 4,500 tons a year, and the polyester film business, which goes into thin film application, the kind of film that we are talking about, is roughly 500,000 tons a year. Now, I'm not saying that the entire 500,000 can be converted to this. Certain functional requirements will always require polyester. Certain aesthetic requirements could require polyester. But very big opportunities there, because one line of ours does 1/100th of the polyester market. So there is a very big headroom for growth, and obviously companies which are first mover and those who have already done the hard work will get that opportunity earlier and quicker than other companies, because already we are making a name, and most companies amongst our customer target is aware that we are in the midst of setting up this equipment and technology. So there's a big opportunity. Yes, Akshay, please add.
So if I can come in here, we are already present in most major brand owners in the carton space. And obviously in flexible packaging, we're a lot smaller player. But given that we already have the introduction in carton, and now, these players have a very strong reason to look at us, we feel that we are well positioned, first point. Second point is most of these large MNCs, that you would have heard of, the household names, they have commitments to their shareholders and to their governments where their companies are incorporated to, move most of their packaging to recyclable packaging in the next 4 to 5 years. So there's a massive opportunity there. And last point, which I'd like to apprise you all of, is recently in Europe, there's been a lot of action on this recyclability of packaging. And today, there is a massive tax of 20 to 30% of the value of the product of the flexible packaging in Europe if your packaging is non-recyclable. So, you can even offer a packaging that's 20% more in price, and the customer would have no choice in Europe but to go for it, because his other alternative is to pay this hefty tax. So we find that even if we, we can fill up our line probably with exports. So it may take little time, but there's a huge opportunity. And ultimately all this will come in India as well. So I think that should give you enough of an idea.
No, absolutely. That's wonderful to hear. And a related question here is that then should we believe that, say, suppose by the end of this year or say middle of next year, when you have the product approval and product commercially being supplied to some of these MNC companies, and let's believe now that it gets well accepted. So, from a longer term strategy, will the down to the capacity of on this side, and while the folding carton business can continue to grow at, say, 12 to 14%. I mean, the top line growth of some of the FMCG companies or the pharma companies, and the delta growth can come, higher growth can come from this line of business. Is this the plan there in your mind?
Yes, absolutely. This is like on top of our normal growth rate. If you see our growth over the past so many years has been in high single digit, double digit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the packaging, let's say folding carton itself, there's an opportunity to keep a double digit growth going. And this is on top of that. So this will accelerate our growth significantly. And as far as ramping up this capacity is concerned, it really depends on how quickly we can, penetrate and substitute the other alternative. And we will certainly not leave any stone unturned, but to capture the potential once it gets adopted.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your response.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pawan Kumar from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, if I look at your numbers, broadly we have done around 200 crores of capex in last 3 years. 220 crores to be precise. So how much of this particular capex has been in the flexible lines, and number two, of the capex that we have done in the flexible lines, is it fungible with the recyclable component that you are talking about, or some of it is the normal flexible packaging and some of it is recyclable? How does it work?
So last 3 years we've not done any significant capex in flexible line. This year we are doing. Last 3 years has been mainly only in carton. And the investment we are doing now in the flexible line also allows it to do recyclable. So that is the main thrust of this capex.
Basically, this just to clarify a little bit, basically this Films will be manufacturing the film, which will be this recyclable film, and then the flexible packaging division will be converting that film into finished laminate. So the idea is that we have a separate entity making the film and a separate, within TCPL itself, taking that film and then converting it into finished product. So the investment in InnoFilm is obviously 100% for this only, and then the regular TCPL packaging flexible capacity addition will convert this film, or it can convert any other film or substrate. But obviously the point is that we should utilize in-house ideally.
Okay. And what is the capex on InnoFilm and on this packaging line?
So InnoFilm, we are making a budget of 35 crores.
Okay.
And the total capex for the year, including that, is about 100 crores.
All right. And when we are looking at asset turns on top of this 100 crores capex, should we look at it? We should be looking at only at the 65 crores, which is not there in InnoFilm, right?
Yes, that's right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. And can it deliver a 2 times asset turnover, sir, or will it be higher? What can be the...
No, so if you see historically, our asset turn is about 1.5x because we are never fully utilized. We have some equipment or the other under commissioning or recently commissioned. But standalone, once you're invested and you run at high level of utilization, then the asset turn can be 2x.
So in flexible packaging, usually your asset turn is more like 2x, and then folding carton, usually it's more like 1.5 to 2, depending on, how many lines you have. But basically, in folding carton, usually you have a little bit lower asset turn, but a higher gross margin. And in flexible packaging, it's the other way around. But both could give you an ROC of 20%. Or that's usually our target. So our blended average, we look at like 1.5 to 2, and then a ROC of 20 plus.
Okay. And when we are talking about ROC of 20%, this would be pre-tax, right?
Yes.
Or post-tax? How does it work?
No, pre-tax.
Okay. So what we are essentially saying is, for our business, when we would be operating at full capacity, we can generate an pre-tax ROC of 20%.
No. If we are running at full capacity, we'll get a post-tax ROC of 20%. But the point is that this is a moving target,
Yeah, because or we can utilize fully in one location, then we're doing capex in another location, or in one business, then we're doing capex in another business. So that wheel keeps turning, But ultimately, that asset has to do that kind of a return in our calculation.
Right.
That's our criteria.
And one final question, sir. It is, if I look at your last 3 years, then we have done around 224 crores of capex, but our incremental revenues that have come into the system are maybe in the range of, say, 200 crores. So should we assume there is a prospective, unutilized capacity of around 200 crores lying in the system?
Yes, this out of the last 3 years, 1.5 years, we suffered COVID. So this is a major factor which has not allowed us to achieve our potential. And certainly we can do without any further capex. If we sweat the asset, we can do more than 200 crores of revenue on existing capacity.
Okay. And post this addition of this film line, our revenue potential at full capacity can go to 1,300-1,400 crores. Would that be the right understanding?
Yeah, at a high level of utilization.
Okay. Fine, sir. I will get back in the queue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vijay S. from Capital Market. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question got answered, sir. It was with respect to capex. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. We move to the next question. The next question is from the line of Nilanjana Roy from Ventura Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. I wanted to know why your EBITDA margins are a little lower this quarter, and if I can get a breakup of the flexible packaging and folding carton contribution to revenue for the quarter.
So we mentioned earlier that there's been a very strong raw material inflation in this last 2 quarters, and that is why the EBITDA margin is lower than the normal run rate. And also the utilization has been lower, which results in overhead costs being slightly higher. And about 85% of the revenue is contributed by the carton. The rest is flexible.
Okay, so is the other margin for flexible packaging a little lower than folding carton?
Yes, so as I explained in previous discussion, the flexible packaging tends to have a lower margin but a higher asset turn. Therefore, your return on your capital tends to be similar between the two.
Okay. Thank you for answering.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to participants that you may press star and 1 to join the question queue. The next question is from the line of Faisal Hawa from H.G. Hawa & Company. Please go ahead.
So, sir, you mentioned that for this flexible films unit, the multi-layer one, you will have to import most of the film. So are there no local manufacturers who will make these specialty films so that our risk is lesser?
No, we are not importing films. This is for trial purpose because our machinery is under installation. So in order to save time.
You also just trade. You are trading in it at this point of time.
Yes, we are basically one of the first lines of this kind in the world, and just to get a head start, we have started trials using similar product, and once our line comes up, it will be 100% in-house.
So there would be several manufacturers who would supply us in India itself.
No, not several. There's only, I think, 3.
There's another one under installation, and there's one more which is operational.
That's it.
Okay. And sir, what would be the concentration of our top 5 clients in our revenue?
So we don't disclose our split. We don't disclose our split, but what we can say is that there's only maybe one customer who's more than 10% of our total business. So we are fairly well diversified in terms of clientele.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Soni from Smiths Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, my question is related to the contracts which you enter with your clients for your mono cartons business. So like these contracts are formed for a quarter, 6 year or on a long-term basis. And how is the raw material price hike passing on arrangements within this contracts?
So our, it depends customer to customer. Some customers we have a agreed model where there's a immediate pass on of the RM prices. With some customers it's monthly, with some it's quarterly, with some it is based on a RFQ or auction. So it depends customer to customer based on that customer's individual preference and dynamics. But usually, on average, it takes about 3 months or so to pass on RM price increases. So if you see in the past also, whenever there's been a hike in RM pricing, that quarter the result gets hit, and then in subsequent quarters it normalizes. This time obviously it's been a totally abnormal sort of situation where the kind of price increases have been much steeper than any time in living memory, and the pressure is sustained even right now. So it has taken 1 quarter or so to pass on the increase.
And these supply contracts are made for a 3-month period, 6 months, or on a yearly basis? Means how often they are renewable?
Yeah, so usually they set a share of business once they define the pricing for particular products, and then that's more or less consistent until
next change.
Yeah, like until the next change. So it depends customer to customer, but it's not like we have a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month kind of clarity. We have a clarity over a longer time period, and we have very long-term relations with most of our customers where we're working for 10, 15, 20 years. So, we have fair amount of clarity of the kind of volume and value we can expect from individual customers.
Okay. And my second question is related to the raw material price. So what is the percentage increase for in your raw material price, and what kind of price hike you have taken?
Yeah, so in our carton business, the major raw materials is paper board. So we'll just talk about that for ease. So paper board, there's 2 types of board. There's recycled and there's virgin board. So the recycled fiber is essentially governed by scrap and import of containers. So most of our paper mills, the suppliers, they're importing their raw material from abroad. And those rates have gone up dramatically in the last 6 months, leading to recycled board prices increasing by over 30% in the last 6 months. So that's for recycled board. And in virgin board, the increase has been between 10 to 15%, driven by virgin pulp price increases, as well as other costs going up. Like, for example, all the paper mills use a lot of coal for energy. That price has apparently gone up in high double digits. Then we use a lot of other raw materials, consumables, then things like plastic film. Those have also gone up in the double digits. So I would say there's not one element of cost that hasn't gone up in double digits. I mean, pretty much everything in the market is up, and you can see that in the, anecdotally also. This is the case for every company in the world. So more or less, we passed on whatever increase has come to us.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to participants that you may press star and 1 to join the question queue. The next question is from the line of Pawan Kumar from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, regarding the potential trials that you are doing, on the cost angle, what might be how much higher than the traditional flexible film will we have to price our newer film?
No, so this newer recyclable film, there is no yardstick that on cost what will be the delta. It will depend on the product. So when you have a very thicker laminate, it's possible, in fact, to have a lower cost. And if it is a very thin laminate, it could be that the cost will be higher. So it really depends on the functional and the barrier properties required. However, the delta could be from -5% to +10%, something like that.
Okay. Delta, you are saying this?
Delta means the change, the difference.
So if the guy is paying 100 today, he may be paying 95 tomorrow for this kind of product. He could be paying 110 also. It depends on the product and the kind of barrier and functional requirement that they have. So what we're doing, our strategy is to work on many different types of products with different customers. So like, let's say we'll work with one guy for atta, we'll work with one guy for rice, we'll work with one guy for shampoo, and another guy for soap. And then, we qualify with at least one major customer, one type of product. And once that is clear, and we have an idea that, okay, today you're paying 100, with my product you'll be paying 102 or you'll be paying 95, then we go to everyone in the market doing that kind of product, and we can sell that. So that's our strategy. So ideally, we want to corner the entire market, obviously, but we have to choose the low-hanging fruit first.
Okay. And on the subsidiary work, in the tonnage terms, what is the kind of capacity we are putting in?
4,500 tons.
How much, sir?
4,500 tons.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thanks. Yeah. I'm done.
Thank you. Participants who wish to ask questions may press star and 1. Well, that was the last question in queue. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management team for closing comments.
So thank you, everyone. I hope we have been able to answer and satisfy all your questions. Should you need any further clarifications, or if you would like to know more about the company, do feel free to contact our investor relation team at CDR India. We hope to have your valuable support on a continuous basis as we move ahead. On behalf of the management, I once again thank you for taking time to join us on this call. We look forward to interacting with you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of TCPL Packaging Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. You may now disconnect your lines.